What's up guys, Max here, and today we're going to be discussing about the buffs, reworks, balancings of these champions, especially the old ones, and kind of what we've seen in the past when it comes to like mcoc. Now, we're looking at Juggernaut, and he's going to be basically the first one to be reworked, which is going to be next month, just in a couple of days in August. He's going to have a buff added to him, and you know, should you be excited? Should you be like looking forward to ranking this champion up? Like, he's like currently in my account, you know, fortunately enough, he's only sig 20 and he's still at rank 1, and he's been at rank 1 for the longest. So I don't plan on actually ranking this guy up anytime soon. And one big warning, guys, I would say I would go out and not rank up your champions before they get buffed. Like, even if it's your favorite champion, unless you want to, of course, it's your account. But I wouldn't go out and just rank up a champion right before the buff gets announced and comes out live. Because we've been seeing, and that's kind of what I want to talk about in this video. But before we do, let's go ahead and read the champion attributes and rebalancing updates. Here's a post by Kabam John. He says, hey all, before we get into what's coming up in the future, let's just chat a bit about the current state of reworks and updates. So this is clarity. This is going to give us information of what is behind the mindset of the people at Kabam's mcoc headquarters that are thinking on the direction they want to do, or what they sat down and talked about, and they came out with, hey, this is the mission statement, this is what we're going to be doing, right? So there's been a lot of chatter about about how champion reworks and updates have changed. We are still approaching reworks the same way we always have, and we wanted to reestablish our goals and parameters of these champs revamps efforts. The goals have always been, and here's the mission statement. Here's where, like, whoever's in charge said, hey, let's figure out, or a couple of people figure out what we want to do, and bam, this is gonna be what we want for every single rework, every single champion we touch, especially the old ones. You gotta have that, just because you have to have a base. You can't just grab a champion and just throw some stuff at it and just be like, all right, there you go, done. Grab another one, throw some stuff at it, and then they're all different, right? And then there's no pattern. So here's the first bullet point. It says, gives champions an update that will help them feel more meaningful, especially for newer players who usually have fewer options to deal with challenges, and to increase a relative sense of excitement when these champions are pulled from the crystals. So right there you have it. If you didn't know this and you've been playing the game for what, 5+6 years, and you've gotten these champions, acquire them over the years, and just sitting there in your account, rank 1s, rank 2s, and you want to go ahead and level them up, well, these basically, there you have it. This is not for you guys. This is not for me. This is for the newer players that are getting these champions. And by one way or another, I feel like Kabam knows that when it comes to Juggernauts, even though I only have them, I've been playing for like 7 years now, right? I've only have them at sig 20. Of course, that's only the 6-star. There's tons of 5-stars. My 5-star is sig 200 over the years, but yeah, it seems like they kind of know that these older champions are. There's over 200 champions. They get pulled, they get open, they get selected a whole lot inside the game. But yeah. It's simple as that, guys. I wanted to wait a couple of hours, a day or so, before this update actually was announced to get my thoughts together, because I have been let down on a lot of the reworks. I guess I was hoping for something great. You know, I was hoping that the champion that's been in the game for many years, you know, kind of like outbeats and performs the performance of a new champion that just is getting added or just got added into the game, especially since they were the staple, the foundation for where the game kind of evolved, and those are your like old time favorite champions. Like, why wouldn't you want to keep using the old ones as opposed to chasing the new ones? Just in that statement right there, that is where the direction of this whole game is lying on. You can't make the old champion too good, too great, that you're not chasing the new champion and the new immunities, the new debuffs, the new buffs, that they can apply to the opposite a champion, and when it comes to like playing MCOC. So financially, there is some motivation in the background, and ideally the reworks, the way I see it, the way I'm kind of like change my mindset is going to be like, again, exactly what Kabam John said right there. It's meant for the newer players, the starter beginner players that are picking up these champions. They don't want to make it too complicated where you have to like dash, intercept, get some crazy things, go finish combos with the mediums, finish combos with every other combo, finish it with the light to be able to like ramp up this champion. They don't want to make it too overwhelming where they're just like, this guy is not performing. He's not dealing much damage. And they just put it down and they leave and they forget about the game. So they don't want to do that. So basically, the reworks coming from here on in the future, from my perspective, is it's not going to be exciting. It's just leave them alone, let them be. These are not for the higher end, more competitive players out there, or people that are just hoping that, hey, that old champion, favorite champion of yours gets reworked and you have now a all-star in your roster, because you've had him for a while and he's going to be, or she's going to be like top performance sync already at sync 200. Now, another thing I want to cover here is a couple of the things about the reworks where they're talking about, they talked about what they're going to be doing to Juggernaut, what they're going to be doing to Ant-Man. There's, what are the champions that are going to be reworked? Basically, August, September. It looks like October they take a break, then following with Rocket Raccoon in November. Now, the interesting thing here in November, one of the times, I guess it's time for Black Cat and Scorpion to be basically figured out if those guys are going to be reworked or not, and this is a really important statement right here. So based off their performance and what they're seeing is they're saying like, hey, we're not going to be touching Black Cat or Scorpion, which is incredibly good. So it says we're happy with where they've landed in the battle realms and are going to leave these two spinsters as is in their place. We will be putting out a time into champion rework overhaul instead, which will be Rocky Raccoon. So they're not going to be touching Black Cat and Scorpion. So now if you wanted to wait for this announcement and just you're holding off on your rank 4s, rank 3s, Black Cats and Scorpions, I think you're safe to do that now without having doubts of that being changed, nerfed, or hopefully buffed even more. But if the worst part, if you're not happy with the work of these two champions, then there's no buff coming in the future. But those are kind of my simple thoughts, guys, when it comes to like what is happening in the game right now. I mean, if we look back, by the way, at some of the champions that got reworked this year, I mean, there's no magical buff that happened to the old champions. Now let's take a look at some of the reworks that they've done over this last year of 2022. And if I think about the statement and the bullet points that Kabam John mentioned, hey, this is what we're doing. This is the focus on bringing some of these buffs to these older champions. Psycho Man, when I first saw the buff, I thought to myself, I was like, wow, that was really lazy. Like, I felt like they dedicated just enough time to play this champion, fool around with them, and then realize, oh, he just needs, let's just lower, I think it's the amount of furies or how fast he gets his furies, and let's put him out. Let's call that the buff for March, and it's, I thought to myself, I was like, man, I didn't put my thoughts out there about the buff, because again, I don't want to be in the position where I'm like super negative about what Kabam is doing, but I'm saying it now. I'm like, what a lazy performance on this buff, or possibly there was a beautiful buff coming and someone on the chain decided to stop it and was like, hey, no, this is way too much. Lower it, and this is what we're going to release. But now that the statement's out and basically saying, hey, that is what we're doing, this is why we're not increasing and making these champions extremely good, going forward, it feels like that's where the tide turned when it comes to 2022. You know, and in 2021, we saw some really good buffs to old champions. But for 2022, when things started to slow down, and they said they weren't going to release that many buffs, reworks on champions, it felt like it just got lazy. But hey, now we understand, like I was saying earlier, and now we know where the direction is, and now we can keep these champions part of our deck and stay probably still rank 1. So it's definitely going to be the chase of new champions, the chase of getting the newest performing champion out there. But for now, guys, those are, again, some thoughts. Let me know your ideas in the comments, and I'll make sure to read them. But I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Earthquake! Juggernaut! Juggernaut punch! Earthquake! Juggernaut punch! Juggernaut